What's going on, guys? Mecha Ish here from the Spider-Man Legends Space Venom Build-A-Figure wave. I have the Hobgoblin. Let's do it.
Level 138 in progress. For launch in 3, 2.
Step out of your world and step into mine.
Welcome back, guys, to the Marvel Legends action figure review. And please excuse me, your boy is a little under the weather. That's what happens when you scream at toys all day long. But I wanted to get through this Hobgoblin video because in the spirit of Halloween, there's probably no better villain than the Hobgoblin. Now, looking at the window box, you can see that he has two heads with him, one of which is a Space Venom Build-A-Figure's head, and then we have this alternate Hobgoblin head that is very McFarlane-esque. Now, if you guys remember, Todd McFarlane had a run on Spider-Man back in the early 90s, and this is so cool that they packed in that alternate styled head. Of course, he comes with a glider and a pumpkin bomb. Let's take a look at the rest of the packaging. You got the Build-A-Figure Marvel's Venom, you got the Spider-Man logo Legends series, and again, you have that great window view, Marvel Spider-Man Evil Adversaries, which it says right down at the bottom, and he shares that with Electro. Go ahead and check out my review on him, and then we have Hobgoblin artwork on the other side. And here we have a great look at the Hobgoblin and Electro posed up and ready for Halloween. On the top left, we have Marvel Legends series, and then we have a bio, powered up and bent on revenge. These menacing villains are powerful opponents. And then you have all the figures needed to build this Space Venom Build-A-Figure who's coming up real soon, so make sure you guys subscribe so don't miss out. Alright, let's take Hobgoblin outside of this box. Let's see what he's all about. So here is the Hobgoblin outside of its packaging, and it looks pretty cool. I think Hasbro did another bang-up job here. Now, he stands at almost 6.5 inches in height, and you can see he has a very slender build, but a lot of new sculpted detail, which is awesome. And of course, you have all those accessories, which I mentioned earlier. Now, let's take a closer look at the Hobgoblin. I am loving this head sculpt. Another fantastic job. You can see it is a very creepy look to the Hobgoblin, which is so appropriate. You got nice sculpted detail all the way around, and take a look at that side profile. Yikes. I am loving those red eyes there. You can see the black outline around it, all of that sculpted detail by the eyebrows, the nose, his cheeks. Of course, he has that evil grin on, and look at all those nicely sculpted teeth done in the white, and you can see a little bit of the red behind it for his gums. Nicely sculpted, wicked looking chin. Take a look at that. I'm even loving the shade that they're using for his skin color. You can see it's almost like a greenish gray. I'm also loving the sculpt of the hoodie, and they use a very flexible plastic. You can see they sculpted the head and then put the hoodie over it. Nice detailing all the way around. You can see all of that line work to his crooked little tail at the back of his hoodie. Just so awesome, and such a great likeness to the classic Hobgoblin look. The hoodie is all in orange, as is his cape, and you can see they added a wash to accentuate some of the details and give it a more grimy look. Now, going down to his tattered cape, you can see here it is a removable piece. When I pop off the head, I'll show you guys, but nice sculpted detail there with all of the wrinkles and folds. And then you go on down to all of that same great detailing down the back. Again, a very flexible plastic. And he also comes with a man purse, satchel. Take a look at this. Nice leathery look to it. Great job with that brown paint. You got the nice silver paint apps of that button and the buckle right there. Looks awesome. I mean, and this is also removable, but I'm so glad they added this, because as we see when Green Goblin and Hobgoblin, they like to rock these satchels. Now we get to his torso, which you can see is a very slender build, and I love how they sculpted the shirt over it, so you don't see all of the fine muscular detail, but we do have some nice wrinkles sculpted in around the chest and down the abs. Nice paint job with the black belt. You can see the silver painted buckle, which is nicely done, and then you got the orange, which is almost fading a little bit with the black behind it. The nice sculpt of his torso continues on throughout his back. You can see all of the wrinkles in there, even by his bottom here, and I love that they put a peg hole in there so you can help him with his flight poses. Excellent sculpting work on the legs and the arms. You can see all of those scales are individually sculpted, and then you have that dark metallic blue that really makes it shine. It's gonna stand out definitely on your shelves. Also loving these orange gloves with a very tattered and wrinkled look that is very true to the Hobgoblin. They also did a great job with that open grip sculpt of his hands, and as you can see, his fingers are very flexible, so we can put that translucent orange pumpkin bomb right inside the grip. Now, as with the gloves, I am loving this look with the tattered boots. Of course, he has those big cuffs, all the wrinkles sculpted in there. It looks awesome. Then you got more wrinkles sculpted down and then over his foot until you get the horn tip shoes, which really lock him in place when putting him on the glider. So of course, he comes with an interchangeable head, so I'm gonna pop this more classic looking one off. And just take a look at that. You got the head sculpt nicely placed inside of that hoodie. We can also take off the cape if you wanted to, and also remove his satchel. Now, all we have left to do is to pop on that McFarlane styled head. Make sure you snap that on in place and take a look at how crazy this is. Now, if you are a fan of Todd McFarlane's run on Spider-Man in the early 90s, I think you're gonna like this alternate Hobgoblin head sculpt. A very reptilian look to it. You can see these big beefy eyebrows of his. It looks like there's almost croissants on top of each of his eyes. You got the brown skin, nicely done with the wash that's going going in all of the crevices to really accentuate all of the detail. I dig the way he has that sliver of yellow at the center of each of his red eyes, and the red is all done nicely within the sculpt, and they have a little bit of a black outline surrounding the eye. He has a very tiny nose when compared to the other, and then he has a ton of teeth. Now the teeth are all sculpted nicely, but I wish the paint apps could have been a little bit cleaner. Looks very messy there, but I do love how the gums are painted around the teeth to give it a very distorted and creepy look. Now I know all of Spider-Man's villains were always sticking their tongue out at him during those days, but I wish the sculpt of his tongue was done a little bit better. I mean, it seems very off. It is a very gnarly looking sculpt, but looking from the side profiles, it does not look good at all. But they did do a great job with the pink paint application of that tongue. Lots of sculpted detail all the way around the lips and by the side of his mouth, and especially that awesome looking chin. And as with the other head sculpt, it has the same sculpted hoodie with the flexible tip up front, and of course it has the wash over it. Now looking at these heads side by side, I may need to get an alternate body here, but I think it's so cool that Hasbro gave us these alternate heads to add to those displayable options. And then we have Hobgoblin's glider, which is nicely sculpted with that skull head and the horns, looks awesome. And then we have some more sculpted detail going down the spine. We got 2 ports to slide his feet into, and then it's all pretty much in this gray. Now as I showed you earlier, the head is on a ball hinge, so we get a full rotation all the way around. Now there's also a hinge at the neck, so we can elevate his head somewhat. It is slightly limited, only because of all of that extra plastic behind his head, but he doesn't have as much problem looking downward. Nice rotation at the shoulder and a loud ratchet joint. You can elevate his arm. Now this is about the safe point for raising his arms to the side. You can go further, but as you do with those big shoulders of his, you can see the big round shoulders ram right into the torso piece, so you're going to start to damage the plastic, and it's such an awesomely sculpted, awesomely painted arm that I would not want that to happen. So just be careful. We do have a bicep rotation, a double jointed elbow, and of course a rotation and hinge at the wrist. Now we have this nice ab crunch joint here. You can see, let's move that satchel to the side. He can go forward a decent amount and great range of motion going back. We also have a waist swivel, so he can rotate all the way around. As you can see, his accessories come with him. Now none of his waist rotation should be limited because you can move his belt upwards or downwards. Now his hip joint allows for side leg movement about that much. He can go to the back a little bit, and he can really kick up. We have a nice thigh cut rotation, a double jointed knee. We also have a boot cut rotation, a nice hinge going upward, downward flexion, and a nice ankle rocker rotation. So there you have it, guys, my video review of the Spider-Man Legends Space Venom Build-A-Figure Waves Hobgoblin. Right on time for Halloween. Now we've had a few iterations of the Hobgoblin throughout the Spider-Man Classics and Marvel Legends line, but I think this is going to make a great addition to your collection, especially being that he has a Todd McFarlane-esque alternate head, which is awesome. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a thumbs up and check out my channel for other reviews I've done, and I have so many cool things coming your way, so make sure you all like, subscribe, comment, and share. You know what to do. Peace.